Little update on the cooling system changes for this LS swapped RX8. Made some mounts. There's actually let's see if I can show you. There's a bolt on each one of these, and I made just welded up kind of a bracket that would hold the radiator. It's got rubber pads in there. Allows the radiator some wiggle, flex room. There's a support at the bottom that kind of holds the whole thing up. I've got it just up here to the core support, and hard to see it, but there's one. It's kind of triangulated. One, maybe easier to see on this side. One goes up to the frame rail, and then one goes straight up to here. So everything's bolt on. You can just undo this screw or bolt in the one over there. The bottom mount comes off. Single bolt for these side ones. So everything's kind of removable like factory. If you look at the specs on the fan, they tell you to put the fan about 1 inch away from the radiator. It does a couple things. When you build a shroud, it allows you to pull air from the corners to give you more surface area that the fan's pulling through. And if you've ever, I don't know, like on a leaf blower, if you ever put your hand near the inlet or even too close on the outlet, you might hear that the fan kind of loses its flow and it starts spinning differently. And similar here, if the fan is too close to the radiator itself, it can lose airflow. So it's best to space it about 1 inch away. But anyway, the radiator fan is in there now. That's a spal 1777 CFM, and just a 1/8 inch 6061 plate on top of 1 inch square tube to make the frame. There's purposely this section on this side not being pulled by the fan, so that just straight airflow can pass through on that side, and the fan would of course kick on when things get too hot. Ended up finding a Gates belt that fits this sort of setup with the lower alternator bracket. Put in the top radiator hose with a remote filler. This is the highest point. It's a bit higher than here. Because of course it's a hose, I can pull it up even to make sure I get the bubbles out when I'm filling. So next, I'm going to take the outlet from here and here, put them in a Y pipe, and over here I'll put a coolant reservoir. Kind of like just the basic Honda type bottle, because it can do not just capturing overflow, but it's got the tube so it can actually do recovery as well. The only thing that's not super great about these is the mounting's kind of interesting. They use like a wedge metal shaped deal there, so I'll of course do some more welding to get that in the car. The next thing after that I still need to do, where these rubber sort of bushings are for the hood. So I'm putting in an arrow catch, which has its own rubber bushing. It'll sort of replace that. But this is arrow catch hood latch system. And I've heard from a friend that does a lot of racing that you really want to use the name brand, and he's seen some guys that bought some replicas and their hood flew up during a race. So they do offer a model with aluminum, and these are the extreme with steel hood pins, and then they offer it with or without the key. This car is going to go out to various places in public, on public roads and public parking lots, so I figured I'd do the keyed hood latch so nobody can just pop the hood if they want to. Anyway, radiator's in. It's got a little bit of wiggle in there, which is good. It's not ideal to rigid mount your radiator. because the motor is going to torque and these pipes are going to push on the radiator. So you want to use something like rubber or foam to kind of dampen the wiggle that it's going to have. The only other thing I got to do is get a pipe for this hose down to that one. And then the cooling system will basically be done, and I can then move on to other things, which we'll see in future videos. All right, thank you.